coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm the board game teacher. Thanks for coming to the classroom. Today we're going to take a look at Fighting Flashcards by Language Card Games. Now, it's taken a little while to do the review for this one. I've had Fighting Flashcards for maybe a couple months now, and I've been trying to wrap my head around what Fighting Flashcards is trying to do. I'm not going to do a traditional sort of review on this one like I normally do with the report card and everything, because I just don't think that Fighting Flashcards is quite ready for that yet. And what I mean by that, it's I like the idea of Fighting Flashcards more than I like the game itself. What Fighting Flashcards does is it takes the use of flashcards, which some students use to help them to drill and learn their facts on different things, and even students as in university and adults who are reviewing for something could be doing that. But to me, there's just such a divide between this game and the people who would be using it. So the people who are adults and making flashcards would be already to my mind, they'd be motivated enough that they want to focus on doing the flashcards. They want to focus on the learning. I don't think that they need to gamify it in order to make it fun for the learning. Now, I could be wrong. I'm all for gamification, and if I was going to be learning, I'd want to gamify something too. But this just seems to add sort of a level of distraction, if you will, that the flashcards, if I was an adult learning and I was using flashcards to be learning, I'd want to just be focusing on the flashcards and get to learning, just repeat the facts over and over and over again. It doesn't seem to work for me for that, in my opinion. And for kids, it's just way too complicated. This game reminds me a lot of something like Magic the Gathering, in the style and the descriptions, the terminologies that they use and things like that. But some of the cards that were, I tried playing this with some of my grade 5 students, and so to be clear, you need to get your own flashcards for this. So you're either making your own flashcards, you're using your own flashcards, and the cards here are used to then make the game around the use of those flashcards. But in some of the things that they were saying, like for example, all players burn their top FC and test the next FC at the same time. The fastest correct player discards the tested FC. All of the players recycle their FCs, and one of their discarded FCs onto their FC deck, recycle all burned cards. For my grade 5 students, now granted my school is a very high ESL population, but even still, I think that the language on this is too difficult for kids. You really have to have adults there facilitating and refereeing or interpreting what the cards are saying, and it's just a little bit confusing for them. I think that the production quality on the cards is gorgeous. There's like fantastic artwork on all of the cards here. The artwork is fantastic, but it just doesn't get past the fact that, I think the idea of having a game around flashcards for kids is fantastic, and I would love to see something like that with this kind of game being more appropriate for kids, because this is definitely the way this game is set up. It's a game for adults, but then would I think that adults would be wanting to get a game like this in order to motivate themselves to play and study and learn using their own flashcards? My thought is, if there's an adult is motivated enough to make their own flashcards for a game, they're probably motivated enough to use them without the use of a game. And it's just, I just don't see the thing. There was another one here, like the footbridge. This is the first card we got with my grade 5s. If you can't test your next 4 FCs correctly, recycle them. If you can, then you must describe 3 connections making 4 FCs in the style of 6 degrees of separation. To discard them, you need at least 4 FCs to use footbridge. I don't even know what that means. The 6 degrees of separation, I suppose I could look that up, but this is the kind of thing that I think the game needs to be play tested more. I think it needs to be a bit more fluid and flowing in the thing. I mean, it shouldn't require the person to have some kind of specialized knowledge in terms of what that means, the 6 degrees of separation, assuming that somebody knows. And the 3 connections of that, it's just, I don't know. It's just, like I said, I love the idea that's here. I just think that it needs to be worked on a bit more. Matthew Boyle, thank you for sending this to me. I'm sorry that I couldn't give it a better review, but if you want to discuss any ideas on things that could, how this could maybe work for kids of a younger age, I'm very open to the idea of discussing the ideas with you, seeing how we can make this work for kids of a younger age, simplifying the game, as it were. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. If you have any other questions about fighting flashcards, or have any ideas for things you might like to see on the channel, any topics of discussion, or games you might like to see, please leave me a message in the comment section below. But until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, the board game teacher, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school?